They all say, right? Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
On this beautiful Tuesday morning, I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Agency to order and start with a roll call of the board members. I'm Kathy Murphy.
Ricky Brown.
Ken Kinsey.
Dirk Sonneborn. Steve Thompson.
Morning, everybody. Proof of notice was properly served and posted. Before we begin, I have a script written by counsel for the chair to read. Our first public hearing will be held, so I'm going to read the notice. The public hearing for the Gateway Syracuse project, which was published in the newspaper on October 17, 2024, for a hearing today, is being postponed to the board's November meeting. Written comments received, if any, will be added to the record at that time, and anyone wishing to speak on the project will be invited to do so at that meeting. Thank you.
Well read.
Thank you. Sue, anything I need to add?
Not a word.
Oh, thank
Why
you.
was it postponed?
The request of the applicant.
Okay.
So the applicant is working on, I believe, a combination of financing questions and some project structure questions. So not our hold, their hold.
Okay.
Okay? So that, unless anybody has any additional questions, that takes the public hearing off the agenda as well as the new business item for GW Syracuse off the agenda until our next meeting. Right, so we're moving right along.
Have a good day.
The minutes of our last meeting held on September 17th were included in your packet. Are there any questions, concerns, comments, changes? If not, is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Dirk. Second, Ken. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Our finance committee met last Friday, I believe. I thought I had the date in my head, October 18th. We reviewed some of the application materials for Gateway Syracuse with the understanding there could be more to come, which apparently there will be more to come. And we also reviewed the agency budget and interim financials for this quarter. There were no negative comments or changes. All of the, we also reviewed, the application or the request from the downtown committee for a new 2-year contract for their services. All requests and documents were approved for positive recommendation by consideration of this board. Okay, GW Syracuse is on hold. Next item is 101 North Salina Street. Eric.
Good morning, everyone. So the request that has been presented for the board is a new application for financial assistance, and this comes to us from 101 North Salina Street, LLC. This is a project that the agency and the board is familiar with. This is what's known as now the post development at 101 North Salina Street. This was initially the project that involved adaptive reuse of the former post-standard building. The initial project that the agency has already been involved with was for new office space, including VIP structures, Chase Design, as well as most recently NBT Bank, which recently relocated their headquarters into the building. However, this project before us today would be, there's an additional 44,000 square feet of space that would be converted from currently what right now is vacant commercial space into 72 new market rate and affordable apartments. So the project would involve adding a second floor to currently what was the old printer space from the building that was built originally in 1968, as well as the addition that was built onto the building, the glass facade in the rear that was built around 2000 for the new larger printer press. So approximately 72 units. This project will comply with the city zoning ordinance, which means 10% of the overall units will need to be affordable. And so VIP Structures will be undertaking the project. They've submitted an application with the necessary materials. And so we would look to authorize a public hearing today if the board is supportive, and we would look to have this on at a future meeting for us to be able to discuss and hear more from the applicant. If there's any questions, I'm happy to discuss them.
Does this complete the renovation of that building?
So there, in addition to this 44,000 square feet, there is an additional, it's approximately around, I think, 80,000 square feet that has yet to be developed. At this point, VIP does not yet have any identified tenants, so that space could be converted at a later date. This project and what's presented before us is strictly for the 44,000 square feet.
They described in the application that there were 3 parts, right? There's the front,
Correct, yep.
middle.
Yep.
This isn't all of the back or all of the middle, it's part of each?
It's not, so there's, I believe it's the second block, and then the third block, which is that rear addition from 2000. So largely the central portion of the building and the facade facing West Genesee Street and Clinton Square, that has all been redeveloped. But largely it is that rear portion, and then it's the old printer press, again, dating back to the 60s when the building was first constructed, that's going to be converted. We do have a representative here, Chuck Wallace, on behalf of VIP. I feel like if he wants to add anything to what I shared, or if that covered it, Chuck, so.
It's up to you whether to do it now or we do it.
Come on up.
Yeah, well, if you can. I always,
I've been in
Name and address.
that building
I think you know the drill.
I know the drill. Yeah, Chuck Wallace, VIP Structures, 101 North Salina Street. So as you guys were talking about, we kind of described the building in 3 blocks. So block 1 is the section that faces Clinton Square. Block 2 is that center section, and then block 3 is the most recent press hall. So what we're doing in this phase, block 1 and most of block 2 on the second floor has been developed. This phase will redevelop where the old press hall, or the original press was. So that's the east side of that block 2 center section that faces Salina Street. So there's kind of that really high ceiling height there. We're going to add a floor and develop that section. To the west of that will be about 20,000 square feet of space that will not be part of this project, and that will be able to be released to a commercial tenant. And then the entire press hall, so block 3 facing north, will be redeveloped, and there'll be floors added to add apartments there too. Yeah, the big glass structure where the press most recently was, and then the basement is the bulk of that remaining space. So, you know, you could develop that into something.
Parking down there?
There isn't. I'd love to figure out how to make that work from a number standpoint, but not at this point. Yeah, it could be, but it isn't at this stage of the game.
Percentage-wise, what will be redeveloped?
What is that math?
So you said it's about 200,000 square feet in total through
Yeah,
the
and
entire
there's-
complex, and you've got
there's-
the 44 plus,
So-
I think you said around 80,000 square feet is what would be remaining.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
about 2/3.
at most, yeah.
2/3 is, with this project included, it'd be 2/3 that's been redeveloped. Is that fair
And
to say?
again, the vast majority of the remaining space is that basement. Is that basement space? Yeah.
Eric, would be really helpful. I know I ask you like every time something else comes online, but sort of a running tally for the number of units that are going online downtown.
Sure, yep.
Every time we come, I'm adding up 170, 80. Just like to keep up with that number.
Yeah, we can certainly share between what the agency's been involved with, as well as the downtown committee also just continues to track. And I know that we have already eclipsed 4,000. I think we're coming up on 4,500 downtown residents as well. So we'll make sure we provide the latest numbers.
Thank you. Helpful.
Any other questions or comments? Anything else for Chuck or Eric?
I think we should have a public hearing.
Okay, there's a motion. I'll take it by Dirk, second by Ricky. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you, Chuck. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Great, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Chuck.
Have a good day. Next item on the agenda is consideration of the request by the Downtown Committee. I will just note that America would always be here to present her proposal and to answer any questions, but it is the annual Downtown Committee breakfast this morning. So she and her team are hosting a few hundred people, to hear about the downtown progress. So Eric will stand for America today.
So as we had an opportunity to recently discuss this month, the request before us from the Downtown Committee would be a new 2-year agreement. The previous agreement that the agency had with the Downtown Committee expired in August of 2024. So this would be a continuation of existing security service, which is really designed to help support and supplement the downtown district in coordination with Syracuse Police and the existing security staff in maintaining those staffing levels, as well as the environmental maintenance, which is a key part of as well the work that the Downtown Committee does within the downtown area between landscaping and other graffiti removal, a number of different things that also provide and support the operations within the Downtown Committee. And then this year, we've also added a new element as part of the proposal, which is for additional lighting and wayfinding and the opportunity to make further enhancements as well within the downtown area as part of that proposed funding. One of the things too, just for background and for the board's awareness, the Downtown Committee, which has been a longtime partner of SIDA, is a sole source entity formed to represent property owners and tenants within the central business district of the city of Syracuse and to bring about improvement and revitalization of the properties within the 82 block downtown district. The other point I will say as part of the board's consideration of this request is that this is considered a type 2 action, so no further action will be required on with regards to seeker. But one of the things that we just wanted to make sure was disclosed as part of this request. And just for my last point, this would be a 2-year agreement that would run from August of 2024 through August of 2026.
It's not a grant.
This would
It is not a grant.
It's for services, it's a contract for services, is it not?
Yeah, and we're partnering with them, so they're putting up some money.
Attorney?
Yes, it is not a grant.
I heard the lawyer already in there with that secret.
But I think certainly.
Not coming next month.
Oh, my God. Let's have the meeting now.
No, I think, but given the efforts that have already been taking place, particularly on environmental security and maintenance, I think the further investment in the lighting and wayfinding enhancements also will go a long way. So we certainly think this could do a lot of good.
$600,000, it also demonstrates a significant commitment from us to them. If they do, then they should be able to see the size of this.
I'll note that America has always been, as I'm sure you're all aware, very cooperative in the sense of if we have questions during the term of the contract or concerns, she has always been available to us. And I believe our last commitment asked for an annual update from the Downtown Committee on the status of the services, the environmental maintenance, the security program, and now the potential lighting and signage program.
Did we say annual? What did we talk about? Did we say 6 months?
I think.
So we can say whatever.
Yeah, I think it was 6
It
months.
was a
is what we
minimum
planned
of
to create. Yep.
the annual, so.
Can I just supplement a
Yeah,
little bit?
sure.
So the resolution that was in your agenda notes that, as Eric indicated, the cost is $300,000 per year. It's a 2-year contract. And so it's up to 300 because they draw. So if for some reason they can't provide the service, you don't pay for it and not get it. It is a draw situation. And the second year is subject only to budgetary constraints. Should something catastrophic happen that you are unaware of, you would have an out for the year 2 money.
Any other questions, concerns? Is there a motion to approve the contract?
So moved.
Motion made by Dirk, second by Ricky. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is review and approval of our budget, the agency budget for 2025. Eric.
All right. So you do have a physical copy that's been presented in front of you as well. Wanted to just be able to provide just some of the latest updates and consideration of the 2025 budget. one of the things I think, based on some really helpful dialogue and feedback, and just want to thank members of the board that have been participating in the discussion and preparation of the budget, is that we wanted to really take a conservative approach as far as overall revenue and agency fee income. That, as you see before you, is approximately 1.8 million. That was a number that we really tried to put some thought into projects that we are anticipate closing, both through the end of the existing current fiscal year through 2024, but also doing a projection of 2025. And so that number is one that we feel like is a healthy number, but one that's conservative based on our existing pipeline of projects. And then as you go down, just additionally, we've looked to include every single one of the board obligated funds, various professional contracts, various things that the board and the agency have approved to. For example, the downtown committee number, that $300,000 per year, is now reflected in this budget, as well as other programs and services that are underway. And so that is continued to be reflected here in the 2025 numbers. But given the $1.8 million in revenue fees from projects, which is the single largest income item, we're projecting approximately $2.4 million in total revenue in fiscal year 2025. Total expenses and operations is approximately $1.9 million. So what we are proposing is that we are expecting an overall net increase in financial net position of the agency by the end of next year of approximately $500,000. So this is all subject, of course, as whether or not projects are able to proceed. But one of the big things is, again, we really tried to come up with numbers that we think are very much achievable to reflect the year ahead. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, concerns? As Eric stated, this is, our recommended agency budget for 2025. The board at any time can ask for an update to this budget and where we are on actuals. And also, it certainly can be amended to accommodate whatever may change over the course of the year, as we've done in the past. We're good? Steve? Dirk?
Have my chance.
Good. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ricky. Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you. Is there a motion, is there any other business? Comments? Sue, Eric, Lori?
Sue.
I know, don't ask Sue, you're right. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Ricky, second by Dirk. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Have a happy Halloween, everyone.
All right, and
Yes,
thank you so
enjoy.
much for coming.
So I gotta get back again, and that's the problem.